Good morning. My name is Alexandru Moloceniuc, and I'm the founder and CEO of Blue Asteroids, a UK space startup developing a low-cost deep space exploration CubeSats for universities. But first, let me tell you about the problem that we are trying to solve. More than 200 universities and research institutes from around the world have already launched CubeSats to low Earth orbit or invested heavily in ground telescopes. This indicates a clear interest in space exploration and astrophysics research among educational institutions. However, although their aspirations and dreams are high, they are pretty much restricted to these ground observations and research projects done in Earth's orbit. They are not able to conduct their own deep space exploration missions. They cannot send their payload to deep space, nor conduct scientific research on the same scale as space agencies do. Why? Simply because they do not afford to do so, as the typical cost of this is in terms of hundreds of millions of dollars. But we believe that we found a way to reduce this cost to just a few millions, making deep space research a lot more accessible, not only to universities, but also to space agencies and private companies targeting space resources utilization. So let me introduce you to Blue Under, the first deep space exploration spacecraft affordable enough to empower many universities to conduct scientific research on the same scale that space agencies do, but only at a fraction of the typical cost. And we are planning to achieve this by using two technologies that have already been successfully combined and tested in space. I'm talking about CubeSat technology, which has already revolutionized the space industry, and solar sailing. Blue Under is a 16 units CubeSat, meaning it's about this size, and has a mass of just 20 kilograms. The spacecraft can accommodate payloads up to 3 kilograms and 2 units in volume. It has hybrid propulsion, ion thrusters, and solar sail, and it can go by itself from GTO to a wide range of solar system destinations without the need for a dedicated launch nor higher energy starting orbit. Destinations enabled by Blue Under spacecraft include the Moon, near-Earth objects, Venus, and even Mars. Blue Under's unique capability to be sent into space as a secondary payload on NASA or commercial rideshare launches to GTO represents a complete game changer for public and private space explorations, leading to significant reduction in costs. Blue Under can also be defined as a completely self-contained mission platform, meaning that we will take care of everything for our customers, from mission planning to accommodating their payload and finding a convenient launch opportunity for them. Our spacecraft will effectively act as a propulsion, communication, navigation, and control platform, sending your payloads to deep space and providing all the services that are necessary for a standalone mission. Here are a few more images with our beautiful spacecraft before and after deploying its solar sail. Apart from selling Blue Under spacecrafts, in the near future, we are also planning to offer deep space exploration as a service, the option of renting a Blue Under spacecraft for a few weeks or months to conduct a smaller scientific mission. Our main customers would be universities and research institutes, and we identified such 100 universities that are interested in space explorations and who would afford to buy a Blue Under spacecraft. We are also targeting private space companies interested in space resources utilization, space agencies such as ESA and NASA, but also space agencies from Asia and Africa who may not have enough funds to conduct a typical deep space mission, but have enough money to afford buying a Blue Under spacecraft, and also to governments without a space agency aiming to send their first payload to deep space. We identified approximately 180 potential customers, and we are aiming to capture at least 25% of this marketplace by 2025. We do have a few competitors, but generally their solutions are a lot higher than ours. The least expensive product, similar to our Blue Under spacecraft, is Explorer, developed by Bradford Space. But the Explorer is still in development at the moment, and even Explorer is 2 to 3 times more expensive than our a Blue Under mission, meaning not even Explorer is affordable enough to enter the education market, and therefore giving us the first mover advantage in the education market. However, our most competitive advantage is our extreme lower cost. Our business model is quite simple. We are aiming to sell between 30 and 50 Blue Under spacecrafts by 2025, resulting with the average price of a Blue Under spacecraft being $3 million, with a 33% profit margin, resulting in a gross profit of about 40 million. The total estimated mission cost, including launch and operations, would be 7 to 8 million. We are preparing to raise our seed funding round to cover our operational activities for the next 12 months and improve our design concept for Blue Under spacecraft. Then we will probably need around $2 million more to deliver our first spacecraft. Our team consists of me, with 4 years of experience in astronomy and astrophysics, my co-founder, 3 interns, and also we have an advisory board which consisting of successful entrepreneurs and professional astronomers. And I will finish my presentation with an image of our Blue Under spacecraft.
Thank you.
Could you take us back through the costs? I got a little confused by how much your satellite costs versus the ongoing maintenance versus your price point.
The Blue Under spacecraft will be around $3 million, from which $1 million will be our profit. The total, we haven't included the launch cost here and the operational cost, downlink. The total cost would be around $7 to $8 million.
And so $3 million price for universities to purchase it.
Blue Under spacecraft.
And how does that compare with the competition you mentioned?
I was referring for the total mission cost of our Blue Under is around $7 to $8 million, and it is a lot less expensive, almost by 1 order of magnitude, because we have our spacecraft is a CubeSat. It's very cheap to launch, and not very hard to build.
Okay, thank you.
So I noticed in your presentation that I've been reading that you're using commercial off-the-shelf components integrated by a contractor who presumably be in the UK or wherever, I don't know. There's a lot of faults on commercial off-the-shelf components. So how do you plan to get around that? I mean, that has had a very high failure rate.
We've identified all the spacecraft subsystems that we need, and we've been in touch with those commercial companies that send the spacecraft that we need. We are choosing the parts that also have been tested in space before and have a proven reliability.
Great presentation, Alexandru. Quick, simple question and a simple answer maybe. Why do you think you're going to succeed?
Because we have this vision of low-cost exploration CubeSats, and this is what the world needs at the moment. We need to make deep space research more accessible to universities and to space startups in order to advance the space industry.
When you get to the point of engaging with customers, how do you think that arrangement will look like with universities and your exchange of funds, and maybe it's some bartering? I'm not quite sure. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
We've already started to contact a number of potential customers. We've been in touch with Milo Space Institute and University of Luxembourg. We are planning to convince them about to buy our spacecraft by presenting all the capabilities that this Blue Under spacecraft can bring them. We'll give presentations to their universities.
So $7 to $8 million seems pretty pricey for a lot of universities. Have
Not
you had?
$7 to $8 million.
I thought you said the total cost of the mission would be $7 to $8 million.
No, I'm sorry if I said that, $7 to $8 million.
Yeah. So that seems kind of pricey for a lot of universities. Have you looked into how they're going to afford to pay for this? I know NASA's traditional exploration programs do tend to cost tens of millions or hundreds of millions, but recently they've had a number of deep space CubeSat missions, and I think they have programs like, I think they're called Simplex or Roses or something like that, where they actually fund universities or academics to do CubeSat type missions. Have you spent any time trying to figure out how your customers can get the money to afford $7 or $8 million? Because most universities probably will have a challenge there.
We've looked into the research budget of the most wealthiest universities and how much they spend on astrophysics research and ground telescopes already. Also about the launch, some of them may get it for free from NASA or government. And yes, it is still expensive. That's why I've said only 100 universities who would buy these spacecrafts, not.
Maybe a little bit of a follow-up. First, commend you on identifying a very big need in a good market. But I think everybody at the table here has been trying to get at something that we unfortunately have had some experience with, which is, have you thought about the length of sale, the sales cycle into universities, and how you would shorten that?
So we will use the ion thrusters to get from GTO to an Earth departure trajectory, and then we'll use the solar sail to conduct our mission. So with our hybrid propulsion, the mission length would be like 2 to 3 years to go to an near-Earth asteroid, for example. 100 square meters has the solar sail.
I think we're interested in the financial model, really the business case and how you see the sales cycle developing and the timeline for that sales cycle.
So we aim to sell between 30 and 50 Blue Under spacecrafts by 2025, with the first Blue Under spacecraft to be launch ready by 2021. It will be a bit difficult, mostly to get our first customer, but then after we prove what Blue Under is all about, we are hope that other universities would also be interested in buying this.
I'd also like to ask, the Planetary Society did the light sail. They're famous for that. Is that your inspiration?
Not exactly. Our first goal was, our initial goal was asteroid mining, and we tried to find out ways how to get there, what needs to be done before, and we came up with this spacecraft. It was a source of inspirations, but our design is completely different than the solar light sail.
One thing, are you aware of an organization called iCubeSat.org? Do you know of them? iCubeSat.org. Have you heard of them?
I'm not exactly sure.
They're based in Cambridge. You might want to look them up. iCubeSat.org. They'd be very interested in hearing from you, and I think you'd get a lot out of that. The other question I had for you is that it strikes me that if you could put a mission together for this kind of price and you can send it out to wherever, it might be better to finance that mission on the basis of pre-sold data sets. So you sell the data sets that you think you can achieve to space agencies, and if you could put it together for that kind of price, you can sell those data sets for a lot more money than selling a few CubeSats.